Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to dive into something I find absolutely fascinating: the invisible, systemic forces that literally govern whether our daily financial decisions feed us or completely drain us. We've all been there, right? Thinking that the reason we stay stuck financially is just a lack of willpower or maybe some secret piece of insider info we're missing. But the reality? The system actually isn't broken at all. It's working exactly as it was built to. We're calling this the metabolism of wealth. It's basically this self-reinforcing cycle where the signals you send to the system determine if it feeds you or starves you. Let's really look at how this functions. Okay, picture this. You're standing in line for a $4 coffee, the exact same one you grab every Tuesday morning. But this time, something invisible happens in the background. You totally forgot about a tiny scheduled charge that hit your account. And that little $4 mistake, well, it doesn't just disappear. Nope. It triggers this crazy cascade of $35 penalties that instantly turn a minor slip-up into a $77 crisis. And here's the thing, the bank doesn't care that it was just a coffee, because the system is literally designed to see you as a risk score with shoes. You're treated more like a problem to be moved through, kind of like luggage on a conveyor belt, rather than an actual human customer who needs a bit of help. We see this stark duality in banking all the time. Look at this. When you're sitting at a negative balance, you get punished heavily. But as soon as your account hits, say, $15,000, boom, suddenly you get a dedicated relationship banker who dials your number first thing on a Tuesday and reverses fees with a single email. It's wild, right? The price of money actually gets cheaper the more of it you have. And it's not because you suddenly became a better person. It's simply because you stopped being a risk and started being an asset that the bank actively wants to protect. So the absolutely crucial point here is that the bank isn't sitting in a supervillain lair trying to be uniquely evil to you. It is just completely indifferent. It's an algorithm charging you simply for being broke. But when you apply that cold, automated indifference to millions of people who are just struggling to get by, well, indifference at scale looks exactly like cruelty.
Which brings us to rewriting your financial signals. How do we actually fix this?
To escape this cycle, we have to realize this isn't just a streak of bad luck. It's actually a biological and financial signal. It works exactly like the hunger your body feels when you try to go on a diet. Think about it for a second. The moment you start eating less, your body freaks out, right? It says, whoa, we are under attack. Your metabolism slows way down and treats every single calorie like it's the last helicopter out of Saigon. In the exact same way, the financial system treats your lack of a cash buffer as an opportunity to attack, literally charging you for not having enough. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates our solution. You have to stop trying to win this game with pure willpower and start building a system that rewrites these signals entirely. Think about how modern medicine uses compounds like GLP-1 to mimic the body's meal signals, basically turning off that constant nagging noise of hunger. It's a real game changer. Well, we need a mechanical system to do that exact same thing, to rewrite our financial hunger signals. So, step one in doing that is finding your survival number. Now, most of us are taught to save some random percentage of our income, right? Like, oh, just put away 20%. But let's be real, that rule is written for people who already have a calm, predictable surplus of leftovers at the end of the month. If your entire paycheck is already spoken for, 20% of zero is still zero. Instead, you need to calculate your survival number. This is the absolute bare minimum it costs you to exist for 1 month. We're talking strictly the basics: rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, insurance, and your phone bill. That's the whole shebang. Let's just say that number comes out to $1,700 a month. That means a standard 1-year emergency fund is over $20,000. And looking at that giant, intimidating $20,000 wall when you have absolutely zero surplus, it will literally paralyze you. So once you have your survival number, you gotta stop staring at the massive wall. You need to shrink your focus entirely, down to laying just one single $50 brick at a time. Just $50 every single week. Let's look at how this math actually builds up, because it's super interesting. If you try to save that $50 break every payday, so every other week, it'll take you over 12 years to hit your goal. 12 years! But by simply switching from a payday rhythm to a weekly rhythm, you literally delete over 5 years from your savings timeline. Why does that happen? Because the calendar has 52 weeks. You're giving yourself 4 bonus bricks a year without even thinking about it. You're tapping into the natural rhythm of the calendar to accelerate everything. Now, we can take this a step further with what I like to call the double brick strategy. The secret to moving twice as fast with the exact same amount of money is finding a double brick. Here's what I mean.
When you cut $50 from, say, an entertainment subscription like Netflix, you've saved $50. Great. But your baseline survival needs haven't actually changed. However, if you cut $50 from something inside your survival number, like switching to a cheaper phone reseller that uses the exact same towers for literally half the price, you do two things at once. You free up $50 to save, absolutely, but you also simultaneously lower the total height of the wall you're trying to build in the first place. This is exactly how you manipulate the metabolism of your finances. You are shrinking the target while simultaneously increasing your capacity to hit it. It turns what felt like an impossible, decade-long goal into, honestly, just a boring, manageable afternoon of admin work. Next up, we have to talk about the weekly money hour.
To really maintain this momentum and set yourself up for the future, you have to stop being a passive consumer of all the financial noise out there. You need to start being the architect of your own system. And you do that through a single 60-minute session every week. During this weekly money hour, you track your net worth, to actually watch the scoreboard. You run a quick budget check to catch those sneaky subscription leaks before they bleed you dry. And crucially, you move your investment money before your brain even has a chance to see it as available to spend.
And finally, you dedicate the last 15 minutes of that hour to learning a specific financial skill that makes you more valuable in the marketplace. Why? Because your brain is literally the only asset you own that the financial system cannot charge a maintenance fee on, period.
Now, let's look at the big picture, the real wealth transfer. While you are quietly building this wall of safety, you really need to be looking at the massive shift happening in the broader economy right now. Look, we've all been told this story about a great wealth transfer, where trillions of dollars are just going to magically trickle down to us in the mail. But the data shows a completely different reality. 70% of households will receive absolutely nothing, and the median age to even get an inheritance is 58. So relying on a magical check to save you is just a losing waiting game. So what is the real wealth transfer? Well, it's not about inheriting a stock portfolio. Right now, we are living through something called Peak 65, where over 11,000 Americans are turning 65 every single day. The true transfer of wealth is happening through massive, highly profitable vacancies being left in the labor and business markets by an entire retiring generation. Just look at this brutal statistic for a second. When these baby boomer business owners retire, 92% of their small businesses simply close. Close! Every single day, thousands of owners are literally just turning off the lights on perfectly profitable companies. We're talking plumbing shops, print places, HVAC businesses, simply because they are reaching retirement age and they have absolutely no one to hand the keys to. This represents an unprecedented, once-in-a-generation opportunity. The median sale price for one of these fully functional, profitable business machines is around $350K, and they generate around $165K in annual cash flow. And here's the kicker. With small business administration financing and seller notes, you can very often acquire these with just 10% down. That is a fraction of what you might put down on a standard starter home these days.
See, the money isn't coming in an envelope, it's coming in the form of vacancies. When you combine that weekly savings rhythm we talked about with an awareness of the massive vacancies being left by a retiring generation, well, you stop waiting around for a miracle. Instead, you start becoming the person standing there with capital and discipline, ready to step in when these massive openings occur.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought to take away from this explainer today. The metabolism of wealth is constantly running, right now, in the background. So, will you remain a passive target constantly drained by the financial system's indifference? Or will you build the system required to step up, stand at the door of a profitable machine, and claim those keys for yourself?